Hello everyone, this is Coach Lin and welcome back to my channel. I hope you enjoyed my previous tactical video where I showed you how to use your opponent's sphere. Today I will teach you 2 basic placement tactics and 2 advanced tactics. But first let's see how important placement is in table tennis. If you have the strongest backhand and the most explosive forehand, you will still lose. In this clip, Fan Zhendong used brute force against Carlsen, yet Carlsen had no problems blocking it, even using it in his own advantage. Now think, when did Fan win the point? Yes my friend, you are right, when he changed the placement. Now since you know the importance of placement, let's discuss the first tactic. Targeting the elbow. Targeting the elbow confuses your opponent whether to use forehand or backhand. Watch again here. But while focusing on Harimoto, he could have blocked it with backhand easily. What do I mean by targeting the elbow? You simply, when you start attacking, it's better to target the area between the yellow lines here.
We use this tactic because it makes the opponent uncomfortable and confused whether to block with forehand and backhand.
Now what do we need to follow when you apply it? 1. You should have a fast ball. Fast ball are important. If the ball is slow, the opponent will have the time to fix his confusion. 2. If the opponent is using a different hand than yours, naturally he will stay in the middle of the table, making this spot a perfect place for his backhand. Now let's see live examples for this tactic before we move to the second one. The reason why Fan Zhendong lost balance is that he had a deep cut in the middle, so he decided to open the ball using a forehand loop, which led him to lose his balance terribly. Instead, what he should have done is to move his legs a bit and open the ball with his backhand, but Carlsen's deep cut was fast, so Fan Zhendong didn't have much time to decide. Now let's talk about the second tactic of placement, which we call the extended arm trick. This tactic pretty natural, but not all players take clear advantage of it. In 2008 Chinese Super Cup, I kept telling my player and every time out to play as wide as they can, because their opponent's forehand movement is terrible, but they were afraid of their counter-attack. Before I begin, let me tell you a secret. Do you know Jun Mitsutani? He is one of the best players in Japan and a personal favorite of me. The tactic that most Chinese players use to beat him is so simple. Just extend his arm or wide attack his forehand. You might think this top player can be beaten by that? The answer is no my friend, you can't beat him by only this tactic, because his techniques and mindset can win you easily, but other top players use this tactic as their primary way of winning points. Now let's talk about what do I mean by extending your opponent's arm. Many players will attack the opponent's backhand thinking that it's weak, so they can win the point by attacking more than once, as it is a safe place to attack. But if you want to be a top player, attack more to your opponent's forehand. Counter-attacking isn't that simple, so don't be afraid that he will attack you back. Also, never ever attack him in the safe spot of his forehand. Try to make your shot as wide as possible. It's so simple my friend, aim for the empty space, don't be afraid if it's his forehand or backhand. Now a more complex example.
With the serve, love all.
See, where did he put the ball? If you were in Fan Zhendong's place, you would be afraid that Harimoto counters your attack. But my friend, I want you from here onwards to never be afraid of applying your tactic. Your way to win, even if you are facing Ma Long. Now let's explain exactly where to place the ball, so you can train on it. See this place? Do you think Lee Sang-soo can counter it? Even this flick is slow, but it made Lee uncomfortable. Now let's go a bit deep and discuss how does Fan Zhendong get points from Ma Long.
I know you have seen this 100 million times. But have you ever though why Ma Long fails at this? Because he is depending on his forehand to win him points. What I am trying to say is, if you see a person strong in his forehand, try to stretch or exhaust his forehand, you will not only have a chance to win the point, you will force him to lose the point. And for some players, they may lose confidence. Now let's see some different applications of the same technique. The last example.
Right down the line, he does it. Harimoto, dominant player this month in the world. Stay right here. Game 2.
Now to the interesting part, the part you are here for. If you are a pro or a semi-pro player, you are here for these two. Let's begin with the backwards and forwards movement. But first, watch this clip and put it in your mind. It may look like a simple point that Carlsen has failed to block it, But my dear friend, that's not the case. Carlsen can block 100 strong shots without missing. But the tip point here is that Fan Zhendong has brought him closer by a short serve. Then looped the ball to the furthest side to use the slowness of Carlsen's return. Now watch again and pay attention to Carlsen's legs. Leave the ball and look at his legs. The most easy way to apply it is, 1. Bring the opponent as close to the table as much by applying a fast serve. 2. If the serve is on his forehand side, explode to his backhand side. If it's on his backhand side, explode to his forehand side. Let's see one more example. Lee Sang-soo lost his balance because he was close to the table. Next time you play table tennis, try to move in and out while blocking shots. It's too hard to focus on the upcoming ball. Now let's talk about the disadvantages of this tactic for your perspective. 1. If you try to apply it, sometimes you may fail and the ball becomes high for your opponent to kill it or flip it easily. So you need to focus about brushing the ball well to add underspin when applying it. Let's see an example here. Fan Zhendong here is trying to apply the tactic. But an unforced error happens and Harimoto takes full advantage of it. However, Fan Zhendong is so fast to recover and win the point. Now with the last tactic and the most famous among top-class players. The forehand to backhand transactions. If you apply this tactic to any low-level or amateur player, he will definitely fail in it. Because it simply requires a huge practice every day and these players don't have time to practice these drills. Now with the tactic, first let's see a quick drill for this tactic that top players use, and I am sure you have seen it a lot. Fan Zhendong here is quick with his forehand and backhand transitions. You may think of this as an easy tactic, but it's too difficult. But it's not easy because backhand and forehand grips are different. Now let's see an example in a match for this tactic where Fan Zhendong swaps fast between forehand and backhand when Harimoto tries to apply this tactic to him.
Up at 2 games apiece.
Now let's talk about how to do such tactic. First, you need to give your opponent fastballs while changing placements on every shot. But first you need to decide if your opponent is a forehand dominant player like Ma Long. Give him the first ball on backhand, not forehand. And vice versa. Now watch the same clip again, but this time put in your mind that Fan Zhendong will reverse the tactic on Harimoto. Now focus on Harimoto.
At 2 games apiece.
See, Harimoto failed to keep his grip intact. Now let's see a final example. But this time it's to show you if you are good at forehand to backhand transitions. You will be winning 40% of the points, as most complex tactics start with it. Now as we reach the end, thank you so much for watching.